We love you.
We bless you. We behold the Christ in you. We accept you just the way you are. Walk in beauty. You are divine.
We're going to go ahead and stand up and sing our next song. It's Jack Fowler's song, God and Everything. Okay, this section over. Just so you know. You ready? I see joy and I see peace. I see goodness surrounding me. I see love in every breath I breathe. I see God in everything. I see happiness, I see freedom. I see the beauty that lives in me. I see perfection in what life brings. I see God in everything. Same song, we're just going to change it to now I feel. Ready? I feel joy and I feel peace. I feel goodness surrounding me. I feel love in every breath I breathe. I feel God in everything. I feel happiness, I feel freedom. I feel the beauty that lives in me. I feel perfection in what life brings. I feel God in everything. Alright, now I know same key. Go ahead. And every time I'm going to do I choose. I choose joy, I choose peace. I choose goodness surrounding me. I choose love in every breath I breathe. I choose God in everything. I choose happiness, I choose freedom. I choose the beauty that lives in me. I choose perfection in what life brings. I choose God in everything. Now we can change. I feel joy. I know. I know joy and I know peace. I know goodness surrounding me. I know love in every breath I breathe. I know God's in everything. I know happiness, I know freedom. I know the beauty that lives in me. I know perfection in what life brings. I know God in everything. I know God in everything.
Will the prayer marshal bring forward the prayer marshal?
Prayer marshal, that's like the fire marshal.
Now, see, that's extra protection.
You got it. You got promoted.
In the spirit of that laughter, let us find the relaxation in our heart and lift our spirit higher and know Christ is within, and know that every prayer in this box and every prayer that you have that's not in this box is fulfilled. With gratitude, we say thank you, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Dee.
Thank you.
All right. David Carroll will now read Daily Word.
Today's daily word is earth blessing. I live in harmony with the earth. In 2004, Wangari Maathai was awarded with the Nobel Peace Prize for her work in Kenya through the Green Belt movement. In her acceptance lecture, she said, "We are called to assist the earth to heal her wounds and in the process heal our own. Indeed, to embrace the whole creation in all its diversity, beauty, and wonder. I am part of a beautiful web of life, intricately woven so that my actions impact the entire web. I am a good steward of the earth's resources as I am a good steward of my own body. Centered in divine wisdom, I use what I need in ways that support the renewal of the earth. I experience a sense of peace living in harmony with the earth. And today's daily word was derived from Genesis 1:12. And the earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed of every kind, and trees of every kind, bearing fruit with the seed in it. And God saw that it was good.
Thank you, David. Let us prepare ourselves to say together our precious Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
So let us move deeper into that place of awareness of our oneness. Breathing in, breathing in. We are one. We are physically one with all that is. We all breathe the same air. From around the world, we breathe the same air. We are all made of the same stuff. We're all made of star stuff. Let that resonate within you. I am made of the stars. I am one with the stars. I am one with that amazing power that we know now that stars are. And I am more than that power, for I am one with that divine creating energy and love that created the stars. Feel that divine power. Breathe it in. Whatever is going on with you in this moment, breathe in that power. I am divine power. I am divine wisdom. I am love. I am joy. I am enthusiasm. I am. Visualize that burning bush. That bush is not consumed by the flame. And hear the voice. Hear the voice. I am. I am that. I am that I am. I will be what I will be. I am. Take that energy, that I am energy, deep into the center of your being. Let it resonate throughout you. Let it resonate, let it connect. As you move even deeper into the silence of oneness. take another breath. And open your heart. Open all of those concerns that you have to those that you love, knowing that they are also one with this mighty power and wisdom. Let us know that with them. And expand that awareness to friends and people you don't know, people in our greater community. And then even beyond to the totally wide community of the globe, of this manifested universe. Let us know, let us affirm that we are one with that light. We are one with love and joy and wisdom. We are one. And know that we are connected with millions of people around the globe and out in the universe who have that same awareness of oneness. We are the light shining. You are the light experiencing. We are the light. And so it is. Amen. The light shining in kind of a dark and gloomy day, but what would we do if we weren't having rain? You know, we love rain. Rain is feeding our flowers and, you know, all wonderful things that sometimes we think that we can have always be in the sun shining. Well, you know, that's not very healthy, actually. So we are blessed. So when God winks, found this little book. So there's no such thing as chance. And what seems to us merest accident springs from the deepest source of destiny. I'll read that again. There's no such thing as chance. And what seems to us merest accident springs from the deepest source of destiny. And so this was a poet and philosopher in the 18th century. So hundreds of years ago. And I could probably go back and find quotes for thousands of years ago. You know, this stuff isn't new. You know, it's not new. We are reminding ourselves of what people have known for thousands and thousands of years. So I found this article that I really liked what they said, and I couldn't have said it better. So there are those who do not believe in coincidences. Do not believe in coincidences. And the reason why, I mean, it's really kind of, when I first read that sentence, I went, what? I mean, coincidences happen all the time. How can you not believe? You might even believe in what they are, but how can you not believe in them? So it goes on to explain this. Some people believe that fate or mystery or the universe or God causes coincidences. Their faith in something greater provides them with a cause. Since God causes them, the cause is known. Therefore, there are no coincidences. You see that chain? Because a coincidence is something that comes together and you can't figure out what the cause is. So people who believe in God doing it, well, they know the cause. Can't possibly be coincidence. Statistically oriented people believe that coincidences can be explained by the law of truly large numbers, really large numbers, which states that in large populations, any weird event is likely to happen. This is a long way of saying that coincidences are mostly random, because the statisticians, say that fast, know that randomness explains them. Coincidences are nothing but strange yet explicable events that we remember because they are surprising to us. They are not coincidences, just random events. Believe that? Me neither. Those who believe in mystery are more likely to believe that coincidences contain messages for them personally. It was meant to be. Coincidences are God's way of remaining anonymous. Even some of those in the random camp can find some coincidences, well, they can't be a coincidence, can they? Personally and compelling and useful. Randomness and God explanations remove personal responsibility. Do you ever think about that? Because we all do that too. You know, don't we? You know, even the title and where he's coming from, you know, when God winks. You know, but it takes away personal responsibility. And how does that fit with our unity teachings? Each of these two explanations take responsibility for coincidences away from you. Ooh, you really want that? Each suggests that you are powerless in the face of inexplicable forces. So if it's a random event, I don't have any control. If it's God doing it, well, that's a plan and I don't have any control. Do you want to be in that place? No. Randomness says you have nothing to do with creating coincidences. Stuff just happens because we live in a random universe. You think coincidence may have something to do with you, but they don't. Really? Really? When God is called in to explain coincidences, you are the recipient of divine grace, and we do receive divine grace. I'm not going to disagree with that. If you think you had something to do with it, you are deluding yourself. Coincidences exist. Coincidences are real. Yes. You know that. Saying that there are no coincidences stops inquiry. Now think about that. When we say, you know, no, there is no such thing, so you shut down any questioning, any explanation, because maybe it's all of the above, you know? Challenging the statement forces us to make sense of its ambiguity. Are coincidences simply random accidental happenings, or do they have meaning? Both and. It's a paradox. You know, I mean, that's when you get on the spiritual path, you really realize that paradox, two completely opposite things, are true at the same time. And then, you know, you don't explore your own involvement in that process. So if you choose randomness, you just go, not me, I don't have any control. Or you can seek out personal, you know, really think about, okay, what is this meaning for me? Does it have a meaning? Is it a signpost? You know, there's a whole variety of things that go along with this. You know, life becomes this adventure to say, oh, you know, when we say, you know, my job is the what, not the how, a lot of times it's the coincidences that come together that, you know, show us the how, or bring the how into where we can see it and do something about it. So me and other people here in this room, I call coincidental miracles. You know, miracles happen all the time. They show up mostly in consciousness for me as coincidences. And I'm going to talk about some coincidences, but what happened just sitting here listening to the Daily Word, now I kind of glanced at it this morning, but I just didn't sit down and read it. And when, you know, it talks about the woman getting the award for the Green Belt movement in Kenya, I just read a big article about, and it's now being called the Green Wall movement all the way across Africa. Just read it yesterday. There it is in the Daily Word. I hadn't noticed it. You know, is that life-changing in any way? No, but it says, you know, things are connected. They're connected in a way that I can begin to trust as I pay attention to that. So I got on this topic. So Tuesday morning come along, and I had no idea what I was going to talk about today. Usually when I go home on Sunday, I don't worry too much about it. But Monday is my day off, and that's usually kind of, if I don't have my talk idea by Monday evening, you know, I begin to get a little bit nervous. And I wake up Tuesday morning and I don't have a talk. I'm going, okay, and that's what I said. Okay, God, I need an idea. I need a really good story. I need something, and you know, for my own personal comfort, I want it quickly. So I'm standing there and I'm looking around. Yeah, I want it quickly. And so I'm looking around, and I have various spiritual books that I've been reading. Well, guess what? Laying on the top of a pile was this little book, which I had read. I don't know, at least a couple of months ago, maybe longer than that, and I had laid it down, and it I really enjoyed that, but it never crossed my mind, for a talk, at least not at that point in time. And I thought, oh, well, because I said story. Oh, well, he told some pretty good stories in there. Let me pick that up. Well, then it just spoke to me and said, no, not just a story. I'm going to talk about coincidences. It just really felt energizing and the thing to do. So there I put the request out. I looked at a book that's been laying there for weeks. I mean, right where I can see it. It's not been hid. It wasn't anything under piles or on top of a pile. There the whole thing was. And so I picked it up and began leafing through it and, kind of got some ideas. And I went into the computer and I was sitting there. And then, as I was planning this past week, getting ready to be going out of town, I thought, I really need to talk to the guy that mows my grass. And if he doesn't come by or doesn't call, I'm going to have to call him. And I hate making phone calls. Well, I'm sitting right there, just beginning this process. The phone rings, and guess what? It's Glenn Ferguson, the guy who mows the grass. There it is, right there. And so beginning to pay attention, so that made it really fun. The week before, Render Unto Caesar's, that one, I worked hard. I worked really hard that week, and it was not a lot of fun, putting together that talk. This week, it was, it's just been lots of fun and very energizing and all that process. So as I began, paying attention to whatever is going on, I looked on my desk and there was a little book. Again, it's been sitting there a lot longer than this one was sitting in by my chair. My nephew, the one that I talked about that's in prison, couldn't remember the name of it, but he knew that there was a book about dragons that he really wanted to share with a couple of his kids about little dragons. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the pocket dragons. They were very collectible for a while, and our family does that. And he said, can't think of the story, but he gave me enough information about it that I went online and I found it and I ordered one. And I thought I ordered to have it sent to him, but they sent it to me instead. And I thought, well, I'll send it on to him. And I thought, well, I ought to read it. So there it is, sitting there, it's Tuesday. I thought, well, I'm going to pick it up and read it, and then, I'll just mail it on him. Well, I read it, and I realized, okay, for my family who collects pocket dragons and everything, this is a perfect book. Well, let me take it so I can share it with my daughter, all of this. And then I can send it to my nieces, because his niece is also my niece. What's removed or whatever that family stuff is. So there it is, this little book that I've been looking at, and I'm saying, I'm running out of things to read, and there it is. It's been sitting there for months, paying attention to that. And then, so some of these happen really quickly. Those were little things. Were they life-changing? No. What they did was affirm for me in this process, look around just in this short amount of time, all of these little things that are affirming for you, your belief and your understanding. Now, a lot of coincidences, the big life-changing ones, sometimes it takes a long time. You're looking back, over, the whole process, the story I've told many times of how I got here. It was 7 years looking back and going, wow. And then the whole actual selling my house was another whole line of coincidences. So when you think about it, so looking back on your life, think about things that have been, I couldn't have planned that. This came together. I met this person said this. All of these things that happened, and I'm looking back, I remembered another one that I've talked about the story, but I didn't put together the string of coincidences, and that was my very first Sunday here. Wanda Gail Campbell, who I did not know, I had never met her. She comes by, she meets me up in the office and says, you and I have a mutual acquaintance down in Pensacola, Florida. Well, the week before I was coming up here to be full-time, she just happened, her job took her to Pensacola. Wanda Gail at that point in time she covered the whole southeast area. So she could be in, Birmingham or Dothan or, she just happened to be in Pensacola. She just happened to stay at a bed and breakfast that was owned by a friend of mine where I had done many weddings. And they just happened to get in conversation as Wanda Gale was leaving. Where are you going next? Oh, I'm going home to Huntsville. Oh, my friend Carol Landry is going to, her first Sunday is next Sunday. And Wanda Gale just happened to live catty corner across the street from, from the church. And so she wasn't coming to Unity at that point in time, but she stopped because it was convenient and invited me to a meeting that was just happening to be the following week, the Interfaith Mission Service, which brought me into that greater community that had been my dream to be involved in the city, the town that I lived in. I had that experience in a small group when I lived in Scotland because, the Americans there was very small and I was very active and I loved that energy. And then I was at Fort Ritchie, again, a very small group, and I was involved, but never in a town. So here, my first week here, look at that string of coincidences. Now, and the reason why I asked you to look back, because I thought, oh, that just fits in beautifully with this whole process, but I hadn't even been aware of it. And the more you become aware, the more energy around that you begin to see what this process is. And so I want, not all of these coincidences are necessarily positive. So Sunday school this morning. So one of our sort of regular class members who was new here in town came. He hadn't been in several weeks, and what he shared with us is his contract at the university had not been renewed for the next year. And at one point, he was saying he was feeling pretty bad about it. Well, yeah, your contract's not renewed. And then he went on to say, but I'm not really happy here. This just really isn't a fit for me. He's a very artistic kind of person. He said, this is a city full of engineers. Even the students are full engineers, And he's a very creative person. Well, I think by the time he left, he realized, okay, and he was also beating himself up. He says, well, I didn't do as good as I could because I wasn't happy and blah, blah, blah. But he shifted that around from saying, no, this isn't my right place. Mm-hmm. And so it's good that my contract wasn't renewed, because the chances are I wouldn't have said, oh, I'm not happy here, I'm going to go someplace. So you begin to turn that around in that process to say, what's happened? I got fired from my job, which is basically when your contract's not renewed, that's basically being fired. Or I didn't get the job, this I thought was going to be my dream job and I didn't get it. Oh, can I step back and then begin to look and see what came from that process? Or for me it was, I didn't get to marry that man. Oh no. Well, it's very, very good that I didn't get to marry that man. So we begin to look back and begin to see, there are things that have happened in our life that there's no way we could have developed that and to trust that. So the what, here's my what out there. The coincidences begin to come in and you begin to become aware, you begin to trust that process. So what about some of the other things? What about an illness? What's that illness all about? What did that bring me to? Oh, can I begin to step and can I look back and say, oh, before that, I was in this place, and during that process, these are some of the things I learned. And after that, how many stories do you hear that people have had something totally life-threatening, and on the other side, their whole viewpoint on life opens up. That whole threat of not being here kind of shifts your values. What's going on here in this process? What about losing somebody? Losing a loved one, But it doesn't, some of that have to do with what do I know and believe about the ongoingness of life? Yes, I'm always going to miss that loved one, but in that process, can it open my eyes to other things that are out there? Can it open my eyes to other people maybe who are in the same situation and don't have the kind of support that I have? The Mothers Against Drunk Driving, that's one of the obvious ones simply because they advertise a lot. But there's so many people who have created amazing things directly related to a loss of somebody. And there's other people who've just been able to put their arm around somebody when somebody is saying, you know, it's been 5 years, don't you think you ought to be getting over it? You know? To say, no, honey, no, that's not the way it works. And that is just as valuable as somebody who does something amazing. I know, I'm with you. I understand that process on there. So, you know, we look at these things and we get to choose. And it's important because it builds that spiritual muscle. As we're going to step out and we're going to do things, we're going to trust that things are going to come into place. That's our creative process. I know that things are going to come together to support me in this. I don't know what they are. I don't have to know what they are. And probably if I did know what they were, I'd go, no, don't want to do that. But when they happen, you go, oh, yeah, never would have guessed that. So it's important to pay attention to that process. And one other, just a little something. So I went to Aldi's a week or so ago, and I always carry my bags. I've been there shopping, you know, I know. And I never pick up boxes at Aldi's. I always have my bags and everything. So I'm in there, all the way in the back of the store, and they had a big cart there, and it's filled up with boxes. And there was a couple of boxes, and I went, hey, I like those boxes. I'm going to pick them up. I'm going to take them home with me. Well, it turns out that they are just the perfect size. You'll look at my car when you go out to see. I needed smaller boxes to be able to fit things around some of the big stuff that I have in there. Something as simple as that. You know, sometimes our coincidences just make life easier. Yeah. And then, Dean, I'm going to share your story. So Dean had just read the newsletter about coincidences, and he was counting out a bunch of things, and he counted out and they came in packets of 12, but he ended up with an uneven number, and he said, you know what, he says, and sometimes, you know, these packets may have 11 or they may have 13, you know. What I really need is a packet of 13 next. And he picked it out, and it was a packet of 13. Now, as he said, these things happen. Sometimes coincidences are nothing more than timing. It's right there. It happens in the moment. You know, it could still have happened, but it happened right after he had read the article about coincidences. You know, so having that process on there. And then, how many of you are NPR fans and know Carl Castle and his voice? And he retired just a few years ago. Well, he died the other day. Oh. So I went on, was looking up to see what they had to say. So I was reading his, you know, here's the things they said about him and what he did when he was a kid. The story that he tells about when he was a kid so closely parallels the story of Squire Rushnell when he talks about when he was a kid, how he had the desire to be a disc jockey. He had, you know, he'd go around and here's the microphone and he would play. So many stories that were just parallel. I thought, well, that, you know, how sweet is that? That just kind of ties that process up. So, in conclusion, I wanted to read this from the Daily Word. Now, it doesn't use the word coincidence in here, but it seemed to me that it brought all of this energy together. There are times in life I walk ahead with absolute confidence. There are also times I might feel adrift when considering my next step. During those times, I rely on the truth that God is all, and I am part of that allness. As such, I have absolute faith that I am never further away from the guidance of Spirit than the simple act of returning my attention to truth. I may be human, but I am also divine. My human eyes may see separation or lack, but when I look through the eyes of Spirit, I see truth. I see possibility and unity, and I see the path ahead with clarity. I know what is mine to do, and I move forward with courage and conviction. And from Psalms it says, I will instruct you. And how are we instructed? And teach you the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. And one of the ways that this will be done will be through those coincidental miracles, those little or really big signposts. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and sing a song. We haven't done this in a long time. Kind of like the 12 Days of Christmas, but we're just adding on. It's all about joy and happiness, and God gave me, God gave me. So basically, we start with this, then we're going to add on as we go. All right, so we're just going to build. All right. God gave me one heart to love you, and I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day of my life. So that's basically something we're just add on to it here. God gave me 2 ears to hear the word and 1 heart to love you. And I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day of my life. You got it. God gave me 2 eyes to see the miracle, 2 ears to hear the word, and 1 heart to love you. And I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day of my life. And that's what did. Now we're down on 2 hands. God gave me 2 hands to offer service, 2 eyes to see the miracle, 2 ears to hear the word, and 1 heart to love you. And I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day of my life. Now on 2 lips. God gave me 2 lips to sing hallelujah, 2 hands to offer service, 2 eyes to see the miracle, 2 ears to hear the word, and 1 heart to love you. And I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day of my life. My life in spirit. God gave me 1 life to live in spirit, 2 lips to sing hallelujah, 2 hands to offer service, 2 eyes to see the miracle, 2 ears to hear the word, and 1 heart to love you. And I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day of my life. That's what we're adding on. We got 2 legs. God gave me 2 legs to keep things moving, 1 life to live in spirit, 2 lips to sing hallelujah, 2 hands to offer service, 2 eyes to see the miracle, 2 ears to hear the word, and 1 heart to love you. And I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do that every day of my life. Every day of my life.